Gonna be honest, don't really know what I'm doing.
He was often a player that I would buy on Football Manager.
It's already a terrible reason.
From Jon Snow, Matt puts Dan's wardrobe to shame.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Look at him, the cat that got the cream.
Ian Taylor said it was the worst thing he'd ever seen in his life. Monk, really, I know he's manager. What kind of say is
Gary Monk, 5 out of 10.
I haven't finished yet. I cannot believe Gabby had Bondahorse.
That's crazy,
That's
isn't
terrible. It? Yeah, we may well have lost listeners early doors again with a long-winded intro. Go, shoot. Hello, welcome to the Villa View podcast, episode number 5. We've got Dan Bardell and a weary-eyed Tom Julian who's just got back from a stag do, not looking 100%, to be honest. He's not going to help. Usually he talks a load of garbage, so I imagine when he's tired, it's going to be even worse. Tom, you okay?
Yeah, I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling strong. It was sunny. If anything, I look great. Got a little bit of bronzing to me.
Yeah, you are quite bronzed.
You know,
bronzed.
But yeah, it was a boozy session. Yeah. But got my coconut water.
Good times.
Other drinks are available. But yeah, ready to talk some Villa.
Going to try not to waffle on too long at the start because we did get I saw a bit of criticism on Twitter when someone says I turned off after 3 minutes because all they talked about was fashion.
I actually read a review that said somebody really liked that it wasn't just all Villa and they talked real life or something like that.
There was that as well, but the one guy wasn't happy, so to appease him and maybe reel him back in, we'll move on. But thank you very much for all the 5-star iTunes reviews that we've received over the last week. That has really helped actually, because now finally when you type in Aston Villa in the podcast section of iTunes, we come up, so that's good. So thank you very much for those that did that. One thing we were a little worried about is that we've picked up 5-star reviews, but then any normal onlooker who hasn't listened to the podcast before is going to think Tom Julian is rubbish because you've obviously been slagged off a few times, because that's basically what I asked for.
Yeah.
Unfortunately though, for people who did do the iTunes review criticising Tom, I didn't pick any of them as the socks winner. I've gone with Keep It On The Deck, whose review of you, maybe I should explain actually why we did this. So basically last week, if you didn't tune in, we had some win or lose claret and blue socks to give away. So I said I'd give away a pair of socks to the 2 best reviews of Tom Julian that made me laugh the most. So the first one is Keep It On The Deck, who said, in the space of minutes during this podcast, he displayed more knowledge of socks than he has done of football for 4 episodes.
I take that as a knowledgeable socks expert.
I think that was fair, to be honest. There's one here about you being a B-Tech Matt Lynch from Churchill, but I haven't chose that.
Wow.
But I did like the fact that you were called a B-Tech Matt Lynch.
Oh man.
And then the final winner, I've gone with Max Stokes, quite a regular commenter actually on our YouTube video, who said Tom Julian is that kid at school who pretends to like football to fit in with the cool kids, aka Dan Bardell. I love you really, Tom.
Oh, well, I appreciate the last sentiment. That one really made me laugh, actually.
Yeah, there was a few good ones in there, to be fair.
There was a few good ones, a few which were slightly too close to home, and yeah, kind of, just didn't bruise my ego, because, I mean, I'm not Dan Bardell, but it kind of just gave it a little nudge, a little ribbing. So, yeah, thanks for that.
Nothing can bruise this ego.
How do these guys who have won these great win or lose socks get them?
They're going to have to message us.
Okay. Message
Dan Rolinson, because quite frankly, I don't really want to deal with it.
Will you?
So, can you message Dan Rolinson or the Villa View on Twitter or YouTube, and then we'll sort out, send us your addresses and we'll send those socks.
Anyone that's ever worked with Dan, that is how he works. He'll sort something out to start with, and then when it gets complicated, it's somebody else's job.
I don't fancy it. I haven't actually got the socks yet, actually, so I should probably speak to Win or Lose. Maybe they can send them direct. That would probably make more sense.
Yeah.
So I'll speak to Win or Lose. I'll speak to them quite a lot now.
Somebody will do something behind the scenes. Anyway, well done to those that won. Good reviews. Keep them coming as well.
Yeah, please do. We do need some more 5-star reviews on iTunes, because then we'll move further up the Aston Villa rankings when you type in Aston Villa, so that we could do with.
Yeah, 4-star reviews, also welcome. Anything less than 3, keep it to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, if you've got anything nice to say, don't say
it. Yeah, fine.
Pretty much.
Don't take after your example, but let's go. Fixtures are out.
Let's move into Villa. This is why we are recording the podcast on Wednesday, the 21st of June, I believe it is, rather than Tuesday the 20th, as previously scheduled, just so we could mull over the fixtures. Don't really know I think it's quite difficult to talk about them because no one's really bought anyone yet.
Way to sell the podcast.
I know. You've come here with the fixtures quite nicely prepared, giving me a bit of paper with the fixtures on, and you've pretty much only highlighted 4 games.
Well, I highlighted
out of 46.
Well, I've highlighted the derbies. I thought that you would have picked your favourite. These aren't my favourite games.
No. Well, but they might be if we win. But yeah, the ones that leap out, obviously, at the moment, we've got Hull on the first day. Steve Bruce's, someone just looking around the back there, Steve Bruce's old team, at Villa Park, 5:30 on the 5th of August. I actually wanted us to be away first. That suited my plans better.
Why? What are your plans?
I will make them. I don't really have any, but Angie's away that weekend.
Right.
So I fancied a weekend to myself in London, just chilling, playing on the computer and whatnot. But I'm obviously watching the football, but now we're at home.
It's the first day of the season. You've got to be excited.
And I'll be there. I'll be in Birmingham now. Can you say that you'll be there, Thomas?
I think I will be, yeah.
Big shout.
I think I will, yeah.
Big shout. He's going to be there.
As long as you can put me up.
Ooh, not sure about that. So no one can tell me these fixtures aren't rigged, by the way.
Go on then, tell me why.
Because it's just, we've magically got Steve Bruce's old team on the first day of the season. That's a good story.
On telly.
For the Championship and Sky to tell. To me, that says to me that they don't know what they're doing a little bit. And we always seem to play Birmingham in October.
Would that be a problem?
Well, you've got to play everyone, haven't you? But I just think on the first day, it's all a little bit convenient, isn't it?
But that's what I mean. Is that a problem? That the first, if Sky or whoever, EFL, came out and said, we've picked the first games of the season because we want a couple of marquee games, is that a problem?
Not really, because they did actually rig it the one year when it was some kind of anniversary of the founding members of the Football League. They made sure that members were playing each other on the first day, so they did rig it that year. I think Blackburn and Burnley,
right,
or maybe Bolton, they were some of the founders. They ended up playing against each other a few years ago. Now, there's no problem with it, just admit it though.
I've got to say, that first game of the season against Hull, I think Hull fans would be more worried about that game than Villa fans.
Well, yeah, I think essentially the teams that came down last year, arguably in a similar kind of state to what Villa were last year when we came down. So we've hopefully got a bit more nous in the Championship now. Like you say, to be a Hull fan, you'd probably be more worried than actually being a Villa fan. I think the first month is actually okay. Hull at home, Cardiff away, Reading away a few days later, Norwich at home, Bristol City away. I think it's a reasonable start. I'd be hoping to yield some points from those first few games.
Yeah, I would say that's a relatively tough start, actually. Like, I would imagine...
That's tough.
Not a relatively tough. I think, you're going to pick 3 of those teams who will be hoping that, at least, that they'll be challenging for playoffs.
I'm not convinced Hull and Sunderland, I know we're not playing Sunderland in August, I think they're going to struggle like we did.
Oh, I don't disagree with that, but I think they'll be wanting to challenge. I don't necessarily think they're the best side, but they'll be wanting to get off to as good a start as we will. And whereas if you were to start with a team like Barnsley, for example, I'll go into that game with a lot more confidence. I think all 5 of those games there will be good games. But like I tweeted earlier, I think by the end of August, we're going to know a lot more about this Villa side than we do, obviously, now. And even before the start of the season, rather. You're going to know whether your team's up for a Championship fight after those 5.
I'd argue out of those fixtures, the toughest game there, and this is a big shout, is Cardiff away. Because I think with Neil Warnock in charge for a whole season, I actually think they'll probably be there or thereabouts. So I'd argue that that's the toughest game.
This 15th of August, I don't know when the 15th is. That a Monday night or Tuesday night?
Tuesday
Reading
night,
away, Yapstam. I think they're going to be up for it again. I think they're a good side. I think Yapstam will get them well organised again, and Villa have to have more firepower and more creativity to break down that team. I think.
I can see what you're saying, but for me, I think I'm going to disagree. I think the Cardiff game's the toughest in August there. We then move on to September, Brentford at home.
That Cardiff game, before you move on, also comes after an away trip to Colchester in the Cup as well.
We'll get knocked out again, won't we? It'll be the exact same as the Luton game last year, I would have thought.
If you're Steve Bruce, do you put any priority into the Cups at all? Because it's such a long season anyway.
I wouldn't go out my way, but I wouldn't be belittling it, because there's always a chance that you can get somewhere, in a good cup run sometimes breeds a winning mentality in the league, but I don't think it'll be a priority, the League Cup, at all. And I think Colchester will be a tough game, because I'd imagine we'll rotate and not play a first choice team like we did at Luton. And we'll probably come a cropper, and it's on Sky, which we never do well.
2 games opening, our first 2 games are on Sky.
Same as last season, and we got 0 wins from those 2 games. That's good. I'll now move on to September,
please.
So 9th of September, Brentford at home, followed by Middlesbrough at home a few days later. A couple of tasty games there. Barnsley away, Forest at home, Burton away, and then Bolton at home.
Don't mind that as a month.
Yeah, again, you can't. It's difficult to say what's going to be a tough game until people do business. I think Middlesbrough are quite well suited to the Championship already. I don't think they'll lose too many of their players, although I did see that Adama Traore is going to be going to West Ham for 8 million.
Wow.
His agent's got making some serious money.
Full credit to that agent. That is absolutely amazing.
Lump all your money on West Ham getting relegated next season, as Traore got relegated twice in a row.
And
can he go for the hat-trick?
Good job, Middlesbrough and Gary Monk offloading him. Well played.
Yeah, they've done well there. 8 million. They'll probably be quite pleased with that. I think Tommy Elphick's going to go there as well. Just a little bit of gossip. I've heard that Tommy Elphick is probably going to rock up at Middlesbrough. October, a couple of derbies. Wolves away, Fulham at home, Birmingham away, and Preston away. Tough month there with only one home game. Not ideal. I
highlighted that month, not physically, but mentally. That's going to be an interesting month.
Yeah, that's not ideal with two derbies and also Fulham at home, who I actually think I know Villa are being made the favourites by many bookmakers at the moment, but I probably at the moment would say Fulham because, quite frankly, they haven't sold anyone yet. They've got a good manager, astute manager in the Championship, and if they keep that team together, they ended the season very well. I'd expect them to start well. Yep. Birmingham, we were set to play Birmingham away in October. I'm sure it was October last year.
They like to space out the derbies, don't they?
Yeah, it's down as a 3 o'clock kick-off Birmingham away at the moment, but that'll move to the 29th and be a Sunday midday. For absolute sure, if you could just talk while I have a bit of a drink. It's very hot in here.
Well, it is absolutely sweltering in here, to be fair. November, another 4-game month, which is quite nice before a very busy December. So Sheffield Wednesday at home, QPR away, Sunderland at home, and then Ipswich at home as well. That'll be interesting, like you say, to see what Sunderland are made of. Sheffield Wednesday again, another team that impressed this year, or last year, I suppose it is now. But that month could be very tricky or very easy, couldn't it? You know, QPR.
Well, they could all be like that. Every month could be like that.
Yeah, QPR and Ipswich are both kind of sides that will either be fairly rank or pretty competitive. And
3 home games though that month.
Yeah, that's true.
Is pleasing. Good bit of mileage for me in the car. We'll probably go over the Christmas fixtures and then we'll just touch on the other months because it's a bit boring just sitting here talking about fixtures.
Don't mind it.
So December, 2nd of December, Leeds away. 9th of December, Millwall at home. 16th, Derby away. 23rd, Sheffield United at home. Boxing Day, the Bardell and Tom Julian local derby. Brentford away. And the 30th, Middlesbrough away. I think we'll know a lot about Aston Villa's season by that point. A good Christmas will probably be paramount.
How do you feel about the Brentford away on Boxing Day? It's not worked out well for you, has it?
Well, we'll see. We'll see what's going on with the families and stuff. We'll see whether I can wangle it. It might be difficult.
Yeah, it's always a good day.
Yeah. And then just we'll go through the rest of the year. Birmingham at home, 10th of February. Burton actually the weekend before at home, the 3rd. So again, a couple of derbies. Wolves at home is the highlight of March. That's the 10th of March. Jam-packed April.
Yeah.
Actually, a couple of big games in there. Reading at home, Leeds at home, Cardiff at home, Derby at home as well. So a lot of home games. And then we end the season at Millwall away, the place probably nobody wants to go. I wouldn't like to be going there needing something desperately, to be honest, because they'll be bang up for a fight at any occasion.
No, but you're right.
On the pitch and off the pitch.
It's not a bad stretch in April. I mean, there's a lot of games there, but 4 home games out of 7 is not too bad. But some tough games again in there, and like you say, Millwall to go there needing points is always an ask.
I don't fancy that.
But and they may be fighting for their lives as well. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot on Twitter about how people don't generally look forward to the fixture release. For me, it doesn't give us anything. It doesn't tell us anything. But
not yet.
But for me, it's a key milestone in this off season where nothing's really happening. We haven't had the transfer window officially swing open yet.
No,
it's just another little tease. And so that's why it's important for me.
For me, it just enables me to plan my life.
Yeah.
So, like, already, I've got away with a couple of things because I'm away at the end of August going into the first week of September, so I'm not missing a home game, so that's helped me.
Yep.
I've got a wedding that I don't know, I'm going to have to do something about. I'll sort that out at a later date.
When's the wedding? What game's that?
September. I can't remember if it's Forest or Bolton. But I'm sure I'll manage to wangle something there. Hopefully they're not listening to the podcast.
Wow.
yeah, just I like to plan my life. You know what you're doing, don't you? Boxing Day, obviously, you know whether you're home and away, know what you're going to be doing. So from my point of view, it's good. It's that and the kit release. Really, I wish they'd get a move on with the kit.
Yeah, it seems a long time ago since those kits were leaked in inverted commas.
Yeah.
And whether we is there any timeline for an update? You're the man in the know.
I think it's imminent.
Okay,
That's all I'll say. I've not seen anything but of the kit, but I think it's pretty close. I think we can look forward to that in the next few weeks. Quite an interesting thing good time for us to bring up now is the Villa View videos that have come out recently.
I was going to suggest, yeah, go on.
I was going to touch on how important it is that we rectify our away form, looking at the fixtures. And obviously the video came out yesterday at the time of filming of 4 things that went wrong at Villa last season. So check that out if you haven't already. It's done okay on YouTube so far. So we've picked out 4 things that Villa could have done better in the 2016-17 season. It did seem a bit weird to only pick out 4 when you've finished 13th in the Championship. But we did also do 4 things that we did well or that went right in the Championship. So that should be coming out in the next few days as well. That was actually filmed at Villa Park, so a lovely location. So check that one out as well when it does come out. The away form is massive because the home form was okay last season. You leave yourself needing to win about 90% of your home games with our away form, which we didn't do. But we only lost 2 games at home last season, which is, compared to seasons just gone, that's a very good home record. And we lost them in the same week.
Yeah.
But we do need to rectify that away form because otherwise we'll be nowhere near contention.
How do you go about it as a team trying to fix a problem like that? Because the away support was good.
Yeah.
Was great, we should say. And the players, I mean, we lost some close games. We lost some really annoying games. How do you go about as a manager or as a team together, like trying to just shake that mindset?
I'm hoping Steve Bruce knows because I don't.
Yeah.
Really. It must be a mental thing. And I was saying last week about how football is a mental game. But it's different players, so you kind of think like if that, for example, Hourahan, I don't know what Barnsley's away record was like, but they were doing okay at the time he joined Villa, so it kind of been bad. You then come into Villa, I suppose. Is there more? Do teams in the Championship want to beat Villa more than they want to beat other teams? Does that play a factor? But then I thought that would work like that at Villa Park. I thought teams would be like, "Oh, this is our cup final. We're coming to Villa Park. Let's do this." And to be fair, with the exception of really Burton played us off the park at Villa Park, and I felt they treated it a bit like a cup final. But I don't remember anyone else really treating it like that. A big day out, coming to try and take 3 points at Villa Park.
Yeah.
Obviously Barnsley won, so they probably did.
But you've got to the point now with the Championship where there are a host of former Premier League teams in there. It doesn't feel quite as special as maybe it did, say 5-10 years ago, where there were less quality calibre sides like Villa dropping down a league or two. So for me that doesn't really play out, and like you say, it doesn't work at home as well as away from home.
So I look at this list of teams on the fixtures, and last year obviously Newcastle, who are an established side, were in the Championship. They've obviously now gone. I look at Villa, Leeds, Forest,
Fulham.
But outside, I'm talking club size wise, I look at those 3 and I don't see a lot else. There's no genuinely big sides down there. There's teams that have been in the Premier League, yo-yo teams such as Norwich. But I don't see anyone in there. In my eyes, there's 3 big teams in the Championship this season, and that's it.
Yeah, but I don't quite see it like that. I see, like, Derby spent some time in the Premier League.
A long time ago, though, now.
Yeah, Ipswich are the same.
Oh, come on, not Ipswich.
Well, they are the same.
Yeah, they've been there. I'm saying they've been there, but they're not big teams. They're not good sides.
But these are teams that are now attracting quality calibre players.
Not Ipswich. Derby might get a few in. They're selling the best player to Watford for $8 million.
The fact still stands that you've got a player who's playing for Ipswich. He's come on loan from somewhere like Man U or so. He's not going to be intimidated by playing at Villa, perhaps like players were, or like a Burton would be that came up from League One. I don't know. I feel like that mindset has changed there, where players don't get intimidated like that anymore.
I don't think they get intimidated, but I think it ups their game. If anything, the opposition it should up the game, because a lot of these players, if you're playing for Burton, you haven't really played anywhere like Villa Park in your career. It's not like they're full of big name players. They're full of journeymen who've done well for themselves and are blossoming later on in their career at Burton, doing well and punching above their weight, to be fair. But Clough arguably is manager of the season for me last season for what he did at Burton. They came there and played with the freedom that, like, I might not get this opportunity to play at a ground like this again. I want to win this game, and they should have beaten us.
Yeah,
we should have lost that game. So I don't think I don't think there's a fear factor. I think people are coming there and they want to do well. But I don't remember us particularly struggling in any games. There was a lot of dull games.
Yeah.
It's the away form. It's the away. Again, I suppose, away from home, the other team's got the crowd behind them as well. As good as our fans are, and our away fans are absolutely magnificent, I'd quite like the home fans to be a bit more like the away fans, because I feel the away fans stay with the team a little bit more. When the away fans have turned, there's a problem and the things are bad. I just think we have to rectify it, because if we don't, it's going to be a long old season again. Yeah,
you're right. It's a tough one, and it's integral to working out promotion to the Championship, promotion to the Premier League.
Yeah, we've got to do two things. We've got to do two things better next season. For me, we've got to win some away games. We've got to share the goals around better. Yeah, because there's only Codger sticking the ball in the back of the net, which isn't good enough.
That's another sneak peek to the video, which you can catch now. You want to give us a little taster of what's coming up on the what we did right?
It's a bit of a funny one, because we've touched on transfers as a thing that we did wrong, because obviously, again, not giving too much away, but we had 3 players that we signed in the summer last season. Yeah. You get to January and you're loaning out 20 million's worth of player you've only just bought. That's not good business, and you can't dress that up, as I said in the video. But we did do some good business as well. Obviously, you look at Codger, you look at Chester, who is a Premier League defender playing for a Championship side, and he's too good for the Championship, in my opinion. Someone we're very lucky to have, and hopefully someone that looks like he may be teaming up with John Terry, so you'd think that would be a good centre-back pairing next season. It's just more of stuff like that, really. Communication. The club obviously communicated a lot more last season, mainly due to the fact that we have got a magnificent owner that likes to talk to fans and likes to abuse.
He's your best pal.
Abuse fans as well. Yeah, giving me a bit of stick. He tweets me fairly regularly, I suppose, but usually it's obviously about Villa. I didn't know he was
interested in your sister.
Yeah, I didn't know that he'd see a picture of me and my sister and feel a need to say that she looks 100 times better than me, which was basically what he was saying. And true.
When does that video come out, Daniel?
I'd have to ask Dan Rolinson. It'll be out probably the next video along after this podcast, probably the day after the podcast goes out.
Nice.
I would think.
Well, we talked a little bit about transfers there. There's all sorts of transfer rumours kicking about. The biggest one, obviously, is still John Terry.
Yeah. It looks like it's close.
It's getting there, isn't it?
I think it's close. I think there's a couple close at the moment for Villa. I think we could have a couple of players in by the end of next week.
Yeah.
I would predict quite confidently.
Nice. John Terry, like you said there, partnership with James Chester. There's not many better centre-back partnerships than that kicking around the Championship.
No, but you have to feel for Nathan Baker a little bit, because he had a good season last year. That year away at Bristol City obviously did him good, got him acclimatised to the Championship, and then he's come in and had a good season at Villa when he's eventually broke into the team. He's done well, so it's a bit harsh on him, but you will need a squad, because Terry won't play every week. There's the outside chance that Bruce might want to play a back three, although I'd question whether Baker on the left of a back three would work, because I don't think he's mobile enough and got the pace. I think you get a lot of players coming on the outside of him. I think he'd struggle in a back three. Yeah. On the left, I see him as more of a centre man, and I don't think you could play Terry on the left for the same reason. I think Chester in a back three, Chester's ideal on the right hand side, because he's mobile and can pass a ball. You'd have to, for me, if we were playing three at the back, we'd have to get another comfortable left-sided centre back in, because although Baker's left-footed, I don't think he's comfortable on the left.
Another one that's kicking about, centre midfielder released by Crystal Palace, Joe Ledley, linked with Villa, linked with Derby as well, and possibly Stoke, someone like that. What did you think of him? Great beard.
Great beard, up there with the Edinax beard. Yep. I don't know whether Ledley was the beard innovator.
I think he might have been.
He was the first one that had.
Imagine that bearded centre midfield duo.
I wouldn't like to see them in the same team.
That would be groomed.
I think I'd probably prefer Ledley over Whelan.
Yeah,
he's left-footed, so it's a bit more balance to the side. Although obviously we've got Hourahan, who's left-footed, but you could see Hourahan playing slightly in front of those two if he was in the team. I think we do need a central midfielder, and I think it's obviously going to be Ledley or Whelan.
I think Ledley makes sense in every area. He's a couple of years younger. He's £1 million cheaper.
And cover left back.
Left back. His wages might be slightly more than Whelan's, I would have thought, but very slightly. For me, he's a better option. I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him there. Still no goalkeeper news.
I think that's close.
Do you?
I think that's coming. That'll be coming soon. I still think Johnson will join.
I feel like you've got a glint in your eye and you just want to.
I've said all summer I think Johnston will join, and I stand by that. And as I say, I think there's a couple of signings close, so I'd expect Johnston to join. Don't know whether it would be loan or permanent. I'd like to think it would be a permanent move because we've expressed what we think of loans before, but I think there's a couple of things going on at the moment. Tony seems very confident on Twitter as well. The kind of stuff he said about John Terry today kind of leads me to believe even more so that Terry's close, just by saying, I can't talk about it until the 1st of July. It's not like he's flat out denying that it happens, but I hope it does happen, mainly because I got a lot of stick from Birmingham fans.
Did you?
On Twitter, I said something about... What did I say? I said something along the lines of... he said Birmingham City have expressed an interest in Aston Villa target.
Oh,
John
okay.
Terry and I said, that's like me expressing an interest over Ashton Kutcher for a night with Mila Kunis. And then suddenly when Blues had made an offer, I was getting Blues fans tweeting me like he'd signed. So to me, it would bring a lot of satisfaction.
Yeah.
If he signed for us over them, and I've got a little tweet lined up if he does, saved in drafts.
Do you think Ashton Kutcher would be the kind of guy to pick up on that and maybe just like say, here you go, mate, go and have a date, see, chance your luck?
I say it's very unlikely that she'll choose me over him.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying that.
And also that he'd even see the tweet is probably even more unlikely.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I've just had a Cologne moment there where where my brain's frozen.
Shall I carry on?
What have you got written down here? You've got a lot of notes. What's this? Amavi?
Yeah, Amavi's on the old transfer list, isn't he? Apparently he's admitted that Villa and him have mutually decided that he should be on the transfer list. I did say to you last week that I thought he'd end up going. I still think he will. It's a bit of an odd one. It's a bit of a shame, really, because if you rewind 12 months, there's only really 3 players that I was desperate that Villa kept. So it was Ayew, who's now gone, Amavi, and Grealish, who obviously we've held on to and didn't have the impact that perhaps he should have done, mainly because he didn't get the chances that he should have done in his proper position. It just hasn't worked for him. When Bruce first came in, I talked to Bally Sissoko, and the next thing I know, he's given away 2 pens in 2 games.
Yeah.
And Amavi came in. So he started well under Bruce. We started to pick up a few results, and Amavi looked good. He was good going forward. He looked like he'd picked himself up at the back because he used to have a few brown fade moments in defence. And then suddenly at Christmas we played Leeds a couple of times and he went to pieces. He got killed in the Leeds game, and then he just never really recovered from that form. And then obviously Neil Taylor's come in and he's a very established left back, a good left back, a better defender, not as good going forward.
That's exactly right.
But the problem is we didn't see Amavi's best going forward either. So Neil Taylor was a no-brainer for starting left back, and Amavi now Neil Taylor's more of a Bruce player, isn't he, than Amavi. So he's obviously going to go, and I think he'll go on and have a good career. I do think it's a shame that injury. I'd like to have seen what would have happened with him had he not got that injury, because that cost us, because we had Kieran Richardson at the left back for half a season and meandering with Ali Sissoko. Sissoko I actually think is okay. If he stayed as a backup left back, I'd be quite happy with that, because he's obviously going to be back. Yeah, back from there. Back at Villa now, but I think he'll probably end up going as well. It'd be interesting to see where he goes. He'll probably go back to France along with Verita.
I've seen a few people tweet. This is what I'd just forgotten. Yeah, I've seen a few people tweet kind of a bit panicky already, like saying that things aren't happening, that kind of thing. The transfer window hasn't even started yet. You know, it's not like the start of the season is on Saturday and we haven't brought anybody in. I feel like people should just calm down a little bit on that.
I can't think of any Championship side that's particularly done a lot of movement so far. Derby have signed Curtis Davies. I think Burton broke their transfer record for the top scorer in Scotland last season earlier on in the week. But they're the only 2 that really leap out to me. Obviously Sunderland have lost a couple of players, Pickford and Defoe, so that's their 2 best players. God, I don't think anyone's really doing business yet. It always kicks off in July. At the moment you've got under-21s, Confederations Cup going on. Whenever there's a tournament going on of some description, it's notoriously hard to do business. It'll come. My one hope would be is that come the first game of the season we've got most of our signings in, because I think we were still the end of January and the end of the summer last season, we were still doing a lot of business, and I think that hindered us, and it hindered us on the pitch, definitely, if you will. So I'd like to see us have all our signings in by the time the first game comes around, but I know that's very unlikely to happen.
Yeah, but there's no doubt, well, we've still got a month to go before we even start, more than a month, 5-6 weeks before we even look at Hull City. So yeah, I think we can just put the brakes on the panic button, if you can do that.
I think the good thing is, I think if you'd have asked us to start the season this time last year with the squad that we had, we'd have been in trouble.
Yeah.
I think if we had to start the season now with the players we've got at the moment, I think we'd be okay, with the exception of goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Possibly. I think that we'd actually be okay with the squad that we've got to start a season, but we do need strengthening. We need a bit more of a winning mentality, a bit more nous, a bit more know-how, and we do need Steve Bruce to tactically get it right. One of the things I've got down here is that, I don't know whether you've seen on Instagram and other social media, there's actually been a pre-season.
Not an Instagram
Going on
on
Instagram.
No.
There's been a pre-season going on in Portugal that a few of the players have been at. I don't know whether this is club instruction, but they were all wearing Villa training gear, so you'd imagine it might have something to do with the club. So he's had Bonlahor, Mika Richards, Chris Samba, who's going to be obviously coming back to train with us in pre-season, still looking to earn a contract. Andre Green, who was injured towards the end of the season. I think Leyden's there as well. He didn't play much football last year. So there's a few players. I think Jed Steer as well, actually. One of them, I was interested to see him there. So there's a few players that didn't play a lot of football last season on a pre-season.
That's good.
At the moment. So you'd think they've been told by Bruce they need to get themselves fit and be ready for the start of the season. But one absentee that not concerned me, but I was a bit surprised not to see him there if he's got a future, McCormack.
Yeah.
But you think he needed more of a pre-season than anyone?
We're still completely in the dark, aren't we, about Ross McCormack, about kind of what happened, about this whatever happened last season.
Well,
and
we'll never find out.
We'll never find out, but we do need a resolution to it at some point. And if he's not in this kind of maybe again it's a little bit of compassionate leave, and when he gets to proper pre-season he'll be ready to go and focused and mind ready and everything like that. But as time ticks on and you see less and less of him, you get more worried about the investment that we made, don't you?
I do have a little Ross McCormack story. You'll be able to verify how reliable the source is, because I'm going to tell you who told me.
Okay.
Dean Spencer from work.
Yeah, okay.
Not reliable now?
This isn't true.
Okay, he said he was in Marbella, where all the footballers go on holiday, and he said to me that he saw Ross McCormack and that he looked in terrible shape.
Okay, I mean, that does make more sense to me now, because Dean Spencer would spend a lot of time in Marbella.
Yeah.
And Dean Spencer's also in terrible shape, so he'd be able to
he
spot a man.
Yeah, he's a good judge of an out of shape.
That worries me more now that you've said that. Yeah.
I don't know how true that is. Obviously, don't take it as gospel, but that I have heard that.
Yeah.
But I'd expect him to be at the pre-season. I'd have said he'd have been top of the class.
Again,
for needing to be there.
We talked last week about the motivation of players and what they want from this game, and Ross McCormack so far has come to Villa and been uninspired, and this is a make or break season for him as a professional. So
I defend him a little bit in the fact that I don't think he was utilised correctly. There was a few games he played on his own up front, which is not his game at all. He never really got a run, except for at the start of the season. He never really got a run in the side, but he never looked fit to me. He never looked in the best condition that he could be in. So that's the main thing for him. He's got to get himself fit. I don't think he had much of a pre-season last year, so you'd think this pre-season, like you say, he's make or break. He's got to get it right. And if he doesn't start the season in the Villa 18, he's done something wrong.
Yeah, agreed. You got some comments for us, Dan?
Yeah, why not? Delve into them a little earlier this week. I've got to get my phone the right way, though, because otherwise I won't be able to read it.
Thank you for all your comments.
Yeah, we really enjoy the comments,
and
actually.
Questions, yeah. We enjoy them more when I'm not being abused, but well, Dan doesn't actually.
No, that's my favourite thing about doing it. Those, yeah. Les White actually emailed him. So if you want to email with a longer piece, contact@thevillaview.co.uk, and Dan Rolinson will give it a read and let us know whether it's worth looking at. So for the podcast, he said, best game you've seen at Villa Park. Mine was that second leg in the League Cup final in 72 or 73 against Man United. Brian Kidd scored, then Andy Lockhead and Pat McMahon for Villa. I was at the back of the Holt when it was standing only. I cannot remember a better atmosphere at any game. 70,000+. It was magic.
Wow.
Regards, Les White from Adelaide, Australia. So a massive hello to Les.
Hello, Les.
From Australia. Obviously, being quite young myself, I don't remember 72 or 73. I don't know whether you do.
No, a few years before my time.
Yeah,
Les.
But it does sound good. I can't really imagine Villa Park with 70,000 people in it. That seems mad.
That would be absolutely rocking, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I do unfortunately remember standing though.
Do you?
Yeah, my first game was standing.
Wow.
Dad had to carry a milk crate in for me to stand on.
No way.
So I could see in the whole end, yeah.
Did you have one of those rattles as well?
No, I'm not that old. No rattle, but I do still wear the scarf that I bought.
Yeah.
That game, I've still got that scarf.
Well, it still fits.
It's a bit small, but I still like to wear it. I prefer it. It's a little bit shorter. It looks a bit tighter, fitted a bit better. Yeah.
Very nice.
A bit like that, yeah.
So what's your favourite Villa Park game?
I don't think it was my favourite because ultimately we didn't go through, but the one that stands out atmosphere-wise was that Atletico Madrid one under John Gregory in 1998. I think we won the game 2-1, but we went out on away goals. I think we needed another goal. I remember Lee Hendry just gone past. Obviously, who put one just wide, or the keeper pushed it just wide, which was really close. We nearly went on and did something in the UEFA Cup that year. But I just remember when Collymore scored that rocket. Like, I literally felt like the roof was gonna come off.
Yeah.
But it's my favourite game ever.
Again, I've got an atmosphere one.
Go on then, hit me that while I'll try and think.
It was, again, I mean, I don't live as close to Birmingham as you used to do.
Okay.
So I didn't go. I went to quite a lot of away games, but one game I did go to at home was when Villa got back into the UEFA Cup. I think it was the first season of the Europa League, and we played CSKA in Moscow. And I think the game was 1-1. It wasn't a particularly good game.
Carew scored.
Yeah,
I remember it.
But the atmosphere, I mean, I came for the first time. I came with a bunch of mates, which I hadn't done really to Villa before, because I'd have to rely on my parents before that. So the game wasn't brilliant, but going and the atmosphere, and I think everyone had flags and all that kind of thing. It really felt nice that European football was back at Villa Park, and it was
Martin O'Neill threw it there.
Yeah,
and he threw the next leg. Just decided to play a team full of kids and reserve players.
Always seemed a weird move to me. I'd never got that.
Blew our season.
Yeah.
If we'd have come fourth in the Champions League, fourth and qualified for the Champions League, you laud him and say what a genius. But unfortunately, it went the other way, and we ended up coming sixth and knocked out of a potentially winning a tournament we could have won. I was annoyed by that. Annoyed me. I don't think he ever really recovered by that. I think he had they invited all the supporters that went to Moscow to like a forum with O'Neill afterwards, and he tried to explain himself, and he basically said, "You can't question me. Villa fans should not be questioning me."
Yeah.
Bit of likes himself a bit.
Yeah.
Doesn't he, O'Neill? I think just another atmosphere game that's just occurred to me a few years ago when we were Tim Sherwood first came in. We beat West Brom 2-1 with a Benteke penalty in stoppage time, like one of the coolest penalties I've ever seen. Like the atmosphere then, that was unreal again. It was like the roof could have come off.
Yeah.
I remember just running around hugging people I'd never even spoke to.
You must have some great Birmingham memories as well.
The 5-1 was a good one, but I don't know whether it was the best game. I actually got asked to compile Villa's 5 best Premier League games by someone at work the other day, and it ended up on the website in like a poll of which one was the best. I think the Villa v Birmingham won, but I have to think on the spot of like 5 games. I think
was that the poll?
Yeah.
I voted in it.
Did you? Yeah, I chose those 5 games. Mm-hmm. So it was Villa 5, Birmingham 1 I had the one when we beat Everton away 3-2 and Ashley Young ran down the other end and scored after Lescott had equalised.
The Arsenal game.
Everton. Arsenal 3-2 when Santa hit the roof when we were 2-0 down at half time. I had that down as one. That was an incredible game.
Yeah.
John Gregory. That was a really good time.
Yeah.
To be a Villa fan. It was really fun to talk to John Gregory about that when we met with him. I can't remember the other two. I don't know whether you can, as someone who voted as a voter.
I voted for the Birmingham game. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the other two, but do look for that on Sky Sports if you can find it.
Yep.
Yeah. Just touched on Tim Sherwood there. I wrote him down because obviously he's left Swindon in an absolute state. Probably the worst director of football appointment ever.
Do you think he's done now?
I think he's done in management. I think he said it himself that he doesn't want to get back into management, although I'm sure if he was offered a job, he would take it. It's a funny one, Sherwood, because when he took over from Lambert, it was like the second coming of Christ. I don't know if that's just because Lambert was so bad.
Lambert was vilified by the end, wasn't he?
Oh, he just lost it.
And I wouldn't say Sherwood was all that, and I think Villa fans probably knew that, but at that same time, it was just such a state of affairs that we needed something else.
He got to the cup final, to be fair to him, and he survived. Survived relegation, and then I think the next summer perhaps weren't his signings, but then I look at the players he did choose: Richards, Gusted, Lescott, and think maybe quite good that you weren't allowed to choose.
Yeah.
Choose your own players, although it couldn't have gone much worse than 17 points, really, could it?
Yeah, that's it. It was all a bit questionable.
He'll go back to youth, I think, because he tends to give himself a lot of credit for the Spurs youth, doesn't he, Sherwood? So probably end up going somewhere and doing youth football again. Let's move on to some more comments. Andrew O'Riordan says Kieran Westwood would be a great signing. He's won Championship Keeper of the Year multiple times and is considered by many the best keeper in the league. I think that's fair, but I think they would ask for silly money from Villa.
Yeah.
What are you looking at?
I'm trying to think of the best goalkeeper in the league. I forgot that we were being filmed for a second.
Yeah. Best keeper. He probably is him, to be fair, but I don't think we would have a cat and mouse chance.
No.
Of getting him, to be honest. I wouldn't surprise we'd see him rock up at Sunderland.
Yeah.
He's played there before. They need a keeper, having sold Pickford for 30 million. I bet they've got a bit of budget now to spend on a goalkeeper.
I was quite disappointed. Sunderland are under a couple of offers, aren't they? But one of the consortiums that wanted to buy Sunderland, they wanted to put Tony Adams in charge. Unfortunately, they have pulled out of their bid.
The only member of that consortium must be Tony Adams.
Yeah, Tony Adams.
Although it wouldn't be called a consortium, it was just Tony Adams.
No, that's true. Maybe it's a family bid.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter anymore. They're done.
That would have been fun, though.
Yeah.
I'd have liked that.
That'd have been great. It would have been great for like 2 months, and then he would have got sacked. And
I know, but it would have been funny to watch. But he's a nutcase, isn't he, Tony Adams? He gets crazier and crazier every year.
He loves the game.
He does love the game. Good defender. Good defender back in the day.
Go on, next one.
I highly doubt that Sam Lockley, I highly doubt that Derby would let him go easily, but I'd take Will Hughes any day. Young, British and solid midfielder who can only get better. Ryan Woods is a great shout. I think Ryan Woods is probably more gettable.
I think you're right, yeah.
Hughes is going to Watford.
Yep.
8 million fee. Agreed, so it looks like he'll go there. I was speaking to a Derby fan earlier actually about this, and I was saying like £8 million for Will Hughes. I think his contract might be coming near an end. It's not a great price for Derby, but he's been at Derby a long time. Okay, it's a Premier League move, but he's moving to Watford. Brilliant, unless Marco Silva is going to be all that.
Yeah, but what do you do as a player?
Maybe it's a bit stale at Derby.
If the offers aren't coming in from a team that's going to be that next level, then at least you get your chance to play in the Premier League. That might not come again.
Did know that he's not actually getting in the England under-21s team.
Right.
At the moment, I don't know whether anyone's been watching the England under-21s. I watched the game the other day that they won 2-1. I thought it was poor.
Really?
I thought it was a bit desperate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny with England because the seniors and the under-21s, they always qualify for these tournaments really easily. And then you get to the tournament and the managers decide to just try something completely different and move away from what actually got them to qualify in the first place. There were some right weird things going on. John Swift was playing right midfield, never a right midfielder. Although he played well, they brought on one of the Norwich twins, Murphy, to play right back. He's a right winger, and he actually played well probably and changed the game. It's just a mishmash.
It doesn't seem to help though
no cohesion.
The club international relationship, does it? If you're going to take a player and then play him out of position, it's not going to help the whole kind of cohesion of the two.
Now the other thing about England is with the under-21s, until we start taking our best team to under-21s tournaments, Rashford should be there. Dele Alli should be there. I know they've played for the seniors, but obviously we've been garbage in the last 2 tournaments. You've got to have your best under-21 players there. Spain do it. Why don't we? Why do we think that we don't need to do it? We're England. We haven't done anything since 1966, and we haven't had a good tournament since 96 and 98, probably.
Yeah, but Dele Alli is beyond 21s.
I know, but Hector Bellerin, is he beyond 21s for Spain?
I don't know.
He probably is. He's better than the under-21s.
Who's in front of him?
I can't. Caraval probably.
Yeah,
but the point is, he's a full international.
If you've got players that are going to play in the full international side and be quality.
My point is, Bellerin's a full international. He plays for the under-21s. We should be doing the same thing. Spain haven't been too shabby in the last few tournaments.
I've been okay.
Have they? So you'd think we'd take a leaf out of their book. I've digressed anyway from what we were talking about. Some more Tom Julian critiques here. The Alan Hutton of podcasters. Poor start, but he'll surprise you soon. I'm still waiting to be surprised.
It's not coming today. That surprise is not coming today.
I've got a Sheffield Wednesday fan here who says he started watching our uploads, so thanks to him. It's nice to hear that neutral fans are enjoying what we do. A Wolves fan as well says he enjoys our video.
Yeah, I think
Denzel Wolves, well done lads.
I think we've had a Burton fan as well in the past saying he likes it as well.
Jack Hurley, Dan's fashion sense is class in my opinion. Let him live. That's fair. Nice to get some support.
I mean, it's not fair. You're looking a lot better today.
Just have more cash today, aren't I? Yeah. Just let me live though. Jack Hurley makes a valid point.
Let you live. I'm the one that's been pillarised.
That's true. But you're the new boy. That's what happens to the new boy. You're like the kid that gets his head flushed down the toilet on the first day of school. Anthony M, good podcast lads, but the camera angle needs sorting. Hopefully we have managed to rectify.
I'm just thinking I've kind of drifted a little bit though, so hopefully we've saved it.
You get to see Dan and a half a head from the side most of the time. Yeah,
it's the better half.
No, that was true. That was poor from us.
Yeah,
poor from you.
Of course.
B-Tech Matt Lynch. We've got there. I think that's all we've got for questions.
Well, we've hit 45 minutes.
Have we?
Yeah.
Got one here that says one of my mate's baby sisters and mum nearly got run over by Carlos Sanchez.
Oh, I saw that. That's brilliant.
A Cadbury meter.
That's not brilliant. It's terrible.
Oh yeah, but to be fair, I don't remember him moving too much on the pitch for Villa. He's obviously better with his car. Oh no, actually, to be fair, he's obviously the same with his car as he is on
reckless.
the pitch. Yeah, reckless driver.
If you do have any stories of meeting ex-Villa players or current Villa players, do send them in, because I love those kind of stories.
Like they're wicked as well. That'd be good if we could get those in.
And yeah, I mean, I've got nothing more.
There's a few things I haven't spoke about here, but
let's save them for next week if they can be saved.
Yeah, they probably can.
Hopefully next week we'll have a little bit of update on transfers. What date is it next week? 28th, so we'll be a couple of days still off.
Back to Tuesday's recording though, won't we, I think?
No,
we won't. I'm at Villa Park on Tuesday.
Oh, right.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm at Villa Park on Wednesday, so it will be Tuesday.
Oh, we're just fitting in your schedule, mate.
I'm at Villa Park. It's important that we mention this, actually, for the fans consultation group that the Villa View is now a part of. So other big Villa fan sites, like a Villa Fan, My Old Man Said, and other notable Villa fans / groups meet up at Villa Park every few months to talk over claret and blue issues, whether it be catering, what's going on the pitch, off the pitch. If you've got anything that you'd like us to bring up, we can try and get that in. So in the future as well, we'll be going to many more of these meetings. So please, if there's anything you think that we should be letting the club know, then do try and go through us, and we'll try and get that sorted for you.
Yeah, make sure you do,
we can.
Because these meetings are for the fans. That's the most important thing. So if you've got a problem, or if you want something said, then Dan and Matt are going to say it.
And it's just Dan Rolinson as well. It's a huge honour for us to be able to go to that and actually represent the fans. That's really pleasing for us to be able to do. So yeah, make sure you get on that. There was a video maybe at the end of May where we discussed that, so check that out. Matt Lynch did a good job of explaining what the fans consultation group is, so check that out if you didn't watch that already. Check out our other content as well that was aforementioned in the podcast. As ever, thanks for watching and listening. We really do appreciate it. If you could leave a review, preferably a good one, that'd be great. That done?
We're all done.
Bye.
Cheers.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.